Lynn here. Hope you're having an incredible day. Now guys, in this video, I'm going to be having a go at pollinating my Graptopetalums, which are these amazing, beautiful plants here, with my Echeveria here. And I'm also going to be cross-pollinating the two Graptopetalums. I've got two different varieties here. This one is the Paraguense, and this one here, I'm not actually sure of the exact variety of this Graptopetalum, but it's one that has the beautiful yellow flowers on it. So I'm going to be cross-pollinating this one with this one to see if it produces seeds. And also, I'm also going to be cross-pollinating one of the flowers from this Graptopetalum with my Echeveria, because Echeverias and Graptopetalums can be cross-pollinated. In fact, many of the hybrids of Graptopetalums and Echeverias on the market today have sort of been cross-pollinated with each other, which is why there's so many different hybrids. And because I'm lucky enough to have my beautiful my Echeveria Pollinating in flower at the same time, I'm going to have a go at cross-pollinating both the Echeveria with this Graptopetalum and also the two Graptopetalums together and see what happens. I've got nothing to lose, guys. I'm all for having a go at pollinating, and I'll keep you updated if it's a success. And in this video, I'm just going to be showing you doing it. Now, I must apologise if there's a dog next door called Charlie, and they usually, when they go out, they usually put the dog collar on him to keep him quiet, but he's sort of barking in the background. So apologise if he's a bit noisy, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Now, first of all, I'm going to have a go at cross-pollinating the two Graptopetalums. Now, so this one is the Graptopetalum Paraguense, and I have done a video of this one in flower before. If you haven't seen the video, links up above to this beautiful plant in flower, although it's sort of looking even better, I think, now with more flowers on it. And when it comes to pollinating flowers, that's with all types of flowers, especially succulent flowers and cacti flowers, it's always best to wait at least 2 days before you start to pollinate them. The reason being, when the flowers first open, they're still very young and not always fully mature, and the pollen is more receptive on the stigma of the flowers after at least a day or two. But obviously you don't want to leave it too late where the flowers dying off. And remember, some flowers, especially cacti flowers, only last a few hours. So this is purely for these type of plants, mainly some of the succulents, not all. Don't use that as a guideline for all, obviously. But in this case, this flower here opened up a couple of days ago, and these also opened up a couple of days ago. So I think it's a good example. And that goes with Echeverias as well. So just show you here, they usually last a good few days. And what I'm going to be doing then is I'm going to be taking, I think I'll try this one first, and so we can go back and forth with them, is obviously you load up the brush. Here's that one there with pollen. Now, don't worry if you can't see the pollen on the brush, because sometimes it's very, very, very tiny, microscopic, and it's all it needs. A bit like with human beings when you think of it. You know, one thing I love about flowers, they are very sexual. Because if you think about it, it's like with a human being, you only need a tiny, tiny cell of a single sperm to fertilize an egg, and it's the same with flowers also. Do you know, people say, oh, I can't, you have to load the brush with loads of pollen, but remember, this is actually tiny, tiny, little tiny bits of pollen here, which I'm also going to then go back and forth to this one and then put onto this one again. And that's all you really have to do, really. Just take the pollen, which I'll just show you here. It might be a bit of a easier one there, the little tiny pollen on the edges. There's a little bit come off there also, and then bring that, and I'll just show you here. It's difficult to get the macro one. Load it with a little brush. So you only need the tiniest little bit. So they're also self-pollinating, by the way. So I can actually put this pollen straight onto there, and it will self-pollinate, which I'm also going to have a go at doing. But in this case, because I'm going to be cross-pollinating them, I'm going to be putting it onto the stigma of the other one on this one, on the yellow one, which of course the stigma is sort of there, and just rub it on like so, and then I'll keep you updated on how it does. And that's really all you have to do. And say if you've only got the one plant in flower, easy peasy again, you just self-pollinate it yourself. Just literally Just hold the little, obviously with the little fingers always like very gently, so not to put any pressure onto the little stem. And load it with that pollen, like so. And then just see if you can see, you can see a tiny, I won't go too close, a little bit of pollen on there, as you can see. And then you just put it onto the stigma, just brush it on. Like so, exactly like a bee would do. Maybe a bee would land on there and then actually go onto the actual stigma, and that's how, with the little pollen on its legs, and that's how plants fertilise a lot of the flowers. Now, with that, so I've showed you an example of obviously how to self-pollinate, which I've just done there, and cross-pollinate, which I've obviously just done with this flower here, with this one on the stigma of this one here. Now I'm going to show you how to cross-pollinate an Echeveria with a Graptopetalum. Now, obviously, normally different types of plants won't necessarily pollinate with each other, obviously not, but because, as I said, Echeveria and Graptopetalum are both in the same type of family called Crassulaceae, which is a huge genus of Crassula, and they will cross-pollinate with each other. So in this case, they should cross-pollinate without any problems. As I said, it's not necessarily going to be a success, but this is an experiment for me, you know, rather than a how-to video. But this case here, as you can see the flowers, again, these ones are all new flowers, so this one has only opened up a day ago, same as this one. This one is a couple of days old, so again, best not to use newly opened flowers. Usually leave it for at least a day or two so it's more receptive. And holding it very gently like so. Again, brush up the brush. And the reason why I'm not changing the brush, because it doesn't really matter if as far as I'm concerned, this is more of an experiment. So I'm not going to worry about all the different varieties, as in labelling them and everything. I just want to see whether it's going to produce seed, and rather than having it all the correct labelling. So normally I'd recommend, if you're really, really strict with wanting to know, and I have to cross this plant with that one, always change the brush, because this is going to have pollen from the other one on it. But this is, as I say, just an experiment, so it doesn't matter if they're all mixed in here. As you see, there's a bit of pollen on there, and just show you can see all the pollen, all that's all loaded up. And then I'm going to put it on this one because I did that one with the other one. So, and then again on there, brushing. It's a bit like when I often do cross-pollinate a lot of my plants, and as I say, it's mainly more a bit of fun and experiment. And as you can see, I could do it again, also on that one. Bear in mind that I do know when I'm doing this, I'm also self-pollinating the original flower as well, by the way, but it doesn't really matter. As I say, this is not a how-to video. I'm not an expert on pollinated Echeverias or Graptopetalums. This is more of a little video vlog and a bit of an experiment to see what happens here. So there you go, guys, and I'll keep you all updated with how it goes on. And if I get seeds, it's going to be wonderful, because it's going to be a mixture of all of them. Anyway, guys, I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant and flower power, as always, from Ireland. And until the next video, guys, bye. 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 Bye.